I'm noticing that when people start a project, a big project like writing a book, starting a business, something that's going to impact a lot of people, I've noticed that they decide the vehicle first and they focus on the vehicle instead of actually focusing on the purpose or the mission or the solution that they're delivering in that vehicle. What I mean by that is somebody starts by writing a book, let's say, or they decide they want to write a book. That's what they now call prescriptive nonfiction. It used to be called self-help and personal development. Now they're calling it prescriptive nonfiction, which is like some sort of how to improve your life in some way book. But they decide they're going to write a book. And this is actually present for me because it's happening with someone. And I teach this free workshop here in Bali to help artists and entrepreneurs and any kind of independent creator to get through their blocks and create their best work. And so I have someone in my workshop who wants to write a book that's prescriptive nonfiction, and it's about, he wants to help. I asked him, okay, why do you want to write a book? What's the book for? And he said, to help people like me that are, he's an African-American from Los Angeles, and he was stuck in the grind, working a day job, living paycheck to paycheck, and then he started his own business and grew it, and now he's a multimillionaire. And he wants to help people that are like him, that were stuck, and help them start their own business and become financially free like he is. And I said, amazing, that's great purpose to write a book, write a mission. That's a great mission to have, but does it need to be a book? Why does it need to be a book? Could it be an online course with videos? Could it be some sort of coaching, group coaching? Could it be a podcast? Could it be all of the above? In other words, the book or the other things I just mentioned are vehicles, but they're not the actual solution or the actual meat of the project. Is the helping the people he wants to help, helping the people stuck in the grind to start their own business and become financially free. So that you can choose different vehicles for that. And what I'm finding is that people are really limiting themselves by deciding the vehicle at the beginning and sticking to that and trying to fit whatever their content, solution, service, whatever their thing is, into that vehicle. But that's actually quite limiting because they're just limiting themselves to that vehicle when there's many other options. And so the same thing with a business is people decide, okay, this is my service. Like they decide what their service is going to be. They label themselves. I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to be a relationship coach or a mindset coach. And I'm going to offer coaching sessions. And then I'm going to build my whole business and marketing around that. But actually they're limiting themselves by just deciding that they have to do it in that format, in that structure, in that vehicle. It has to be coaching like that when there are many other options, like some of the ones I mentioned, as far as could be group coaching, could be courses, could be live events, could be book, could be podcast, many other options. So what's the point here? Point is to put the vehicle as a later decision. Don't decide that up front. First, start with who are you trying to help? Who's your target audience, right? Your target avatar. And then what are their problems? What's causing them pain? What are their problems? And then what are solutions to those problems? How could you help them solve those problems? But here's the part where I think people will then get caught back in this same trap of deciding the vehicle too early, is because then they'll say, okay, so I've identified the problems. People go through this process, of course, when they're starting a business or perhaps writing a book or something else or designing a course or coaching. And they get to that point where they list the problems and then, okay, how do I solve the problems? And then they say, okay, my service. But they've already decided that service and they're limiting themselves to that service, as opposed to saying, okay, if I took away my preconceptions of what my service or business is. And I actually just thought, how could I help people solve these problems with all the tools in my arsenal? Not just, again, it's not just about deciding, oh, do I do a course? Do I do coaching? Do I do brick and mortar, online? Right? It's not just about that. It's what are all the things that you could do to solve the problems? And don't be limited to your schooling or your professional training that goes in line with this, right? You would probably have other experience, other skills that you're putting aside and leaving on the table because you've decided that that is separate from your service or business. For example, I'll use another example of someone in my workshop, professional therapist, right? Trained licensed psychologist, and limiting herself to that is my service. That's my own thing, right? But also she's really into physical fitness, right? Works out, lifts weights, and she's really into comedy improv, right? And very funny, and I teach improv here as well in Bali, and she's taken my classes, very talented comedic improviser. And these are all separate things in her life. She's keeping these separate, right? She's not thinking that the working out and the lifting weights and that the comedy improv has anything to do with her professional service. But when I asked her, okay, let's put aside all the structures and limits that you're putting on yourself. Let's say you just had a good friend who had the problems that you want to help people with, right, of your target audience. How would you help them? And she would give them some counseling like she does in therapy, but she would also take them to the gym and get them working out, right? And she would have them do a little improv because she's trying to help people. She's trying to help women ultimately with their confidence, self-esteem, and feeling better about themselves and their lives. And so she would give them therapy, but she would also have them work out, have them do some comedy improv to get more comfortable, more confident, and have more fun and increase their general well-being. And I'm like, okay, so that's how you would help your friends. So why don't you help everyone? Why don't you help all your clients like that? Why don't you get clients that you can help with this full spectrum of weapons, tool is a better word than weapons, obviously. We're helping, not destroying. Why don't you create a unique service using all the tools in your arsenal, right? All these things that you've developed skills at and that have helped you to solve the problems that you're going to help other people with. It's helped you to get more confidence, self-esteem, feel better about yourself, enjoy life more, increase happiness, all that. You can do that for other people, right? And furthermore, you're the only one that can do all that for other people. How many other services do you see out there that are combining therapy from a trained, licensed psychologist and working out, physical fitness, and comedy improv? That doesn't exist. The point is that, and not that just that it doesn't exist, no one can do that besides you because no one's doing all those. No one has that unique combination of skills and experience. And so the same is true for you, is that you have there is a unique combination of skills and experience that you might just not be looking at right now, or not be seeing, not be opening yourself up to it because you are separating all these things as this is my professional or life or training, and then this is something I do for fun. And then there's just skills that I have socially that I'm not even thinking about. In other words, there are people that are really good listeners and they really let people feel heard. And perhaps you just think of that as something that comes up in social or relationships. But actually that can be a skill that is really useful in a lot of professional services. You're perhaps very good at telling stories, but you can just do it socially. That has a lot of applications in the business world as well. So the point here is that kind of start with who you're targeting to help with your business or a book or whatever the thing is. List all their problems and really get into detail about all their problems, all the steps that are involved in the problems, and then the solutions to those problems, but don't decide the vehicle yet. First come up with the solutions and then think about, okay, if I was just really good friends with this person, I wanted to help them, what are all the things that I would use to help them? And then look across all your skills and experience and capabilities, and don't limit yourself to what you preconceived of as like your service or your product, and have a much more holistic approach. And then when you do that, then start, after you come up with that, then it's okay, now what could the vehicle be for all of that? And don't limit yourself. And you could have more than one vehicle. You could have a course, you could have a book, you could have a brick and mortar business, right? Don't limit yourself. But once you get that holistic look, that holistic solution, which only you can offer because it's combining your unique skills and experience, then you're going to stand out a lot more. You're going to be what they call a category of one. You're the only one offering that unique combination. And that means that you'll have no competition, right? Because you're the only one offering that, which means you're going to attract a lot more clients or customers or readers or whatever you're trying to attract, because you're the only one offering that. And so people are going to come to that, and you have no competition, and you're also going to be helping people in a unique way. So they're getting the benefit of that, right? There's, I think, too much focus on how to make the most money as opposed to how to help the most people, and help the most people in the deepest way, or the helping people the most. So helping a lot of people, but also the individual people, you're helping them more than other options. So it's not just about quantity, it's about the quality of the help also. And that is how you make more money, is helping more people and helping them in a bigger way, in a more influential or consequential way. But focus on that part of it, of how to help them better, how to help them really solve their problems better than anyone else. And that will lead to more money. And it will also lead to just a more fulfilling venture, a more fulfilling job or service or creative project, whatever it is. So that's going to be the video for today. But yeah, I'd say the big takeaway is, like, first, focus on whoever you're trying to help, whatever your target audience is. What are their problems? What are the solutions to those problems? And what are the different ways that I personally can solve if I'm not limiting myself to any preconceived notions of what my service or product has to be? And then decide the vehicle, how you're going to deliver it. And my prediction is, if you do that, you're going to come up with a very unique service or product or book or whatever it is that is going to you'll find is much easier to attract your audience or your clients or your customers, because you're the only one offering that unique solution to their problems. Thanks for watching, and tune in tomorrow for the next video.